Want your website to stand out from your competition? Make a lasting impression by securing.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me this evening. We are carrying on with our PHP Online project today. I've done a little bit of playing around in the background, stealing some Tailwind UI to make it look a little bit nicer, so there's a few things that aren't quite working. Hello Nathan, hello wife Amy. So what I'm going to quickly do, I'm just going to quickly fix some of this up and make sure we are good to go. Right, so we've got app pages here. We're going to have an X slot for our page content, and I'm just going to drop all of that in there. Allows me to create it, perfect. And when we're showing it, we're just going to do the exact same thing. X slot content. Just get it back to how I need it. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, it looks like crap, but hey, let's see. Yeah, it's an absolute godsend. I absolutely love Tailwind UI. It makes life so much easier. But today is all about the moderation workflow. So let me walk through how it's going to work. You can submit a post and it's only ever going to be in a specific format. Post status. You can save it as draft, or you can save it to be moderated, basically. And your moderator can move it towards published or hidden, and you can also archive your own posts. That is the general idea. So these two are user-led, or these three are user-led, so I will kind of group those to make it a little bit nicer. User statuses and moderator statuses. Hey Ryan, how you doing, buddy? So we've got our two splits there. These are the only ones the user has access to. We're probably going to extend the enum at some point and do something, and we'll just go with that, I think. So that's how that works. So what we need like a role. And we could use a package for this, but I don't know if it's needed as much. So I'm going to do the super cheeky way you shouldn't do it, and just make a migration. Hey, apparently I'm going to caps lock everything today. I'm going to make a migration, or make a model, sorry, because we're actually going to want the model. And we're going to call it role, and we want a migration, and we want a factory for that. State machine. I've been tempted to try a state machine, but I haven't found a good package yet, so I've not gone ahead with state machine. If you know one, I'm very happy to try it. And my cheating way to move that to the front is just to change the date. Really bad, I know. Really bad. I've not been writing code for like a while at work, so I feel a bit rusty. Allowed migration. Yeah, it's all about allowed migration. So our migration, all it needs is a string, and that string will have a name, and it doesn't need timestamps. And that is it. That's all it needs, a name. We can amend the users, so anybody who knows me knows that I like to group things on here. I'm going to have a role ID. I'm going to index it in constrained, and We're not going to worry about the on delete stuff because we never want to delete. We're never going to delete the role and have it affect the users. So that means I've got a little bit of changes to do in my factory, in my user factory down here. We're going to have role ID as role factory for now. Just clean this up. Any file I touch, I try to make sure that I am improving it in some way. Database factory. Yep, that one. So we're declaring our strict types. We're turning it a little bit nicer, and obviously personally I like to use the hash facade here. String length random, yeah, it's fine. All of that's fine. All of this is fine and verified. Yeah, always got to do that. So what Ryan was just saying there is, if we go down to role, is we're going to have factories fillable. We're going to have those sorts of things, but what we need to do is say that our timestamps is false. I'm on Laravel 9. Can I do that now? No, it's going to complain. Soon I hope. Protected, fillable. All we've got really is name. That's the only important thing there. And we will add our static analysis magic. Stubs fold. I know I do it in some projects, but I haven't done it in this one yet. What was the last project I did it on? Was it on Leads PHP or for Release Manager? One of them. Let me check my Leads PHP project. Did I do stubs? Nope. Goodbye Leads PHP. I didn't do it for you. I'm going to assume it was Release Manager. As a guess. Stubs. Copy that. Paste them in. And there we go. My stubs are in. So, where were we? Role. Okay, so we're going to go down and say public function users has many. We're going to say this return has many, where the related is the user class and the foreign key is role ID. So if I go to the user, I can come over and I can say function role, and this belongs to a role. Hey Alex, how you doing, buddy? We're going to say return this belongs to, and then for the foreign key role ID, and let me just get rid of that. There we go. That does that, that does that. We're all good. This will get moved later. And array of type string. This one is an array of type int string. So what you have there, if you're passing both arguments, is a string. If you're just passing a single item into your array, it automatically adds a key for you, which isn't always an integer. So something to bear in mind if you're interested in following static analysis is to try and remember these sorts of things and add them in. Your background noise while you work on your framework. No. Right, so we're going to do that. Tell it to use has factory, and I've not done a lot of cleanup on this project yet, if I'm honest. The typos galore tonight. This is going to bug me. It needs to be height order on this part. So it flows. There we go. User, declare strict types, we're done. There's a role. That one is done. So in our database of factories, an array, role, awesome, declare strict types, and the name of this role is going to be this faker word. And to be honest, we can string it, because it's a word. Yeah, I know, right? Ollie wants to go back to the year 2000, his busted song. So Cedar, database Cedar. Currently we've got just categories being created, but what we're also going to do is if it's not production, we're going to see the categories. If it is production, what we want to do is call a new Cedar. So create our role Cedar in here. Good, role Cedar. That's been cleaned. Good. So we're going to have a protected array of roles where the name is member, moderator, and admin. There we go. So what we want to do is just go through and say can I insert many? No. What's insert do? Values. Can I say this roles? Let's test it. Sale artisan migrate fresh seed. Let's see what it does. See how much complaints we get. Yeah, we're good. We got our roles. Awesome. So when we register, we want to make sure that we can HTTP controllers auth. We got a register user controller within here, which is part of the package. We're going to trigger the registered event. So what we want to do is basically we want to create a new listener here, right? So if we go down to our providers, event service provider, we got this send verification notification class, and we're going to create an assign initial role. So if I come and say new, actually I should be able just to make this. Import that. Awesome. So inside listeners, I've got assign initial role. What do we capture from that? If I do that and I just go is it events generate or the event generator? The event here. Don't think we need anything in the constructor. That registered, it has access to the user, perfect. So constructor is not actually a requirement here. I don't usually use listeners, but I'm going to use it for this. Event user update. Name it authenticatable, that's fine. I can handle that. Role ID is role query where name is member first ID. And we'll just keep it as that for now. I mean, there's probably a nicer way to do this, but I'm just going to keep it flat and standard, nice and simples, not going to get overcomplicated. Make sure everything is all registered and loaded. Obviously that's going to die, so we can go to register, Steve McDougall, password, aha, doesn't have a default value, so it is not fillable. This is where I need warp open as well, right? Migrate fresh and seed, get that all up there, and what we're going to do, we're going to move this over here because it's more going to be useful. I could do actually. Right, I'm now going to go just Steve MCD. This isn't like the finished thing. This is hacking together an idea quickly. Role ID doesn't have a default value again. Wait. I know why. Because I'm saving the data and then now we're good. Now we're good. So now if I go over and say Lots and Tinker, and what we'll do is grab that first user, role ID 1. And if we just say like with role, they got the member role, which is perfect. So it's all I need right now. It's simple stuff. Cool. I'm more interested in the workflow for now, and I can polish that up later. So currently what happens when we create a post, we come over to our backend, create controller. No, it's a Livewire component now, isn't it? Here's our create form. Submit action handle. So we're going to swap that to an aggregate basically. We want to create like an aggregate route and all of the aggregate stuff around posts. So to start with, what I need to do is I did something very similar to what I want to do in the CRM project. So what we need to do is in our database migrations, we need to create some stored events. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to walk through it. Interaction stored events, that does indeed need to be a model, I believe. If I go down to app models, interaction stored event, excellent. So let me come out of that. Oops, come back warp. So I need to make a model, and I want to call this, what did I call it on the other one? Something stored event. post stored event. I want a migration, and that is all I need. Post stored events. So any stored events to do with the post in effect. So does that need to extend anything specifically? Yeah, it needs to extend the Eloquent stored event. So we're going to go through that now. So our model post stored event is going to extend. I have not actually done that yet, so let me install the package. Composer require sparsely Laravel event sourcing. Let that get installed and let PHP Storm understand it. Perfect. Eloquent stored event, which means all of this can just be gone for now. And all we need is like the protected table. Post stored events. So now if I come down to the database, migrations for post stored event, I can drop those in there. So what we're going to aggregate UID, aggregate version, the event version, event class, event properties, meta, created event class, aggregate UID. Oh, that looks to be duplicated. Oh, indexes, my bad. So that is all of that. No, I'm not. This is how the docs say to do it, so I'm going to do it this way. I'm not going to bother trying to clean it up or anything. I'm just going to do it the doc way. So, next step is we'll worry about Livewire in a little while. I'm going to come down to our domains into publishing. I'm going to create a new aggregate. Aggregates. We're going to create a post aggregate. And this is going to extend the aggregate root from sparsely. Going to simplify, and for this part, if I come back over here, if you tuned into this, what you do in your interactions in your aggregate, you set a get stored event repository, and you basically just bind to that public function get stored event repository, and for this you're just returning an app creation of something. That is not going to be it, obviously. This will be a post stored events repository. So next step, create a repository. These are the steps that you take to split out your aggregate so that you don't have just like one event store. You have multiple event stores basically. So directory, repositories, and what I need is basically this. And then you create a post stored events repository, new class. Just the contents. Extends Eloquent stored events repository. Drop that in. Invalid Eloquent. Okay. No, that's those. Construct. This stored event model is going to be the post stored event. And this is here, so I can import that. That is now hooked up, so that our aggregate can now start working with the stuff that we want it to. So we're going to have a post. Yeah, when you initially create a post, it's going to be post submitted. So we're going to have a public function, and if we follow the pattern that we've done last time, so you can see, we're going to have when we create something, when we update something, and if we delete something. It's very, very similar sort of stuff. So we're going to have public function create post. Now this accepts the arguments basically, and it will return itself. So we're going to say this record that, return this. So this is the event that we need to store. So we're going to start looking at events now inside publishing. So we can go to our directories, we're going to create an events directory, and we're going to create a new event called, the event should always be past tense naming. So post was created. This is going to extend the should be stored. And all this needs to do is accept something into its constructor. So public function construct. And what we want to pass into the constructor in reality is going to be, I'd rather use a data object personally. I don't know if we have any yet, do we? Post data object, yes we do. So we should in theory be able to say we're going to accept the data object contract as the object. We want to record that the domain event that happened was a new post was created. So his post was created, and we're going to have a, I'm going to make it, no I can't make it protected because I need access. Public shouldn't be able to be overwritten. Data object contract object. So now we can say that the object that we are passing in is just this object which we have been passed in. Kind of self-explanatory, but I will walk through this again in a little while. So this is just going to record an event. That's all it's going to do at this stage. What we need to do is we need to tell, well, we need to create some projections to handle things. So we need to now, in publishing, we need to create the handlers technically. This package calls them projections, but they can't, they're handlers, they're event handlers. So we're going to create a new one, and we're going to call this a post handler. I'm pretty sure it's extends projectionist. Let me go back to the handlers on here. Yeah, extends projector. Projector. Cool. Simplify that. Clean this up. And what we're basically going to do is we're going to say public function on event name. So post was created. We're going to accept the post was created event as the event. We're not going to have anything to return because it's all going to be triggered in the background. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some stuff at this point. So what we did do in Livewire was handle it directly, right? Create form, this action handle. So maybe we could look at dependency injection on our handler. Projects events, uses handle events, no constructor requirements, perfect, perfect, and perfect. So what we can basically do is we can grab that, put this into, oh, I can't, can I? Create post and post. It's not going to work very nicely, is it? We'll start with it for for now. So we're going to pull those both in. Then when on post created, what we kind of want to be doing at this point is saying this, in effect. This action handle, we don't actually need a factory because we've got that already. So what we can do, object is just event object. And that's it. That should in theory be it. That's the bit that's going to bug me. The post was the create post contract. So we could do something like create new post. Nope. Create the action at that point there, and then I could say action handle. Obviously this is going to look a little bit hunky-dory. I don't like using that. I prefer using resolve. Makes more sense to me. So we're going to resolve this to be action. And then action is going to handle the event. And because it's not going to understand that at this point, we'll just drop that. Unexpected parameter type request. Okay, let's just see. Let's play. So we're going to create a new provider. So make provider, and we're going to create a. No, we're not. We are not. Who's Steve? Clicking in all the wrong places. Right, let's just close all of that. Ignore what I just did. We are going to come down to here inside our providers. I'm going to add it into here. Sourcing service provider. Extend the service provider. Simplify this. I'm pretty sure it is on the boot method that we need to call this. Let's go see what we did over here. I don't think I actually added anything into here for... No. If you have a look, remember what I did last time. So inside app, providers, event sourcing service provider. No, it's in register, not boot. Perfect. So I can go into register, say projectionist, add a projector where the projector is the post handler class. And then in the publishing one, and register, I can load my routes. I'm going to say this register, or this app register, the event sourcing service provider. Perfect. So all I'm doing is, let me track back because I've kind of went on a little bit of a whirlwind adventure there. Ignore the handlers. We'll get back to those. Our providers. We've got our publishing service provider, which is for our domain. And what's happening is in our config app, down where we register our providers, we have our domain service providers. So we've registered our publishing service provider within there. And within the register method, we can tell the app to register other service providers as well, basically. So yeah, in a roundabout way, we're getting our domain-specific service provider to pull in providers elsewhere. And up here, obviously, we can type hint this to an array of, I'm pretty sure I can do class string. Then obviously we're going to have a void on that one. So down here, add that void in there too. So that is all of that. Let me dump the autoloader. Hey, make provider. While that's happening, I have a quick drink. Hey Samuel, thanks for joining, buddy. I'm going on a slight whirlwind adventure today. If I'm going too fast for anyone, please shout out and let me know, to other people kind of get where I'm going. So, what we need to do now is in Livewire, what we want to be doing is instead of getting that action to be handled, which sounds crazy, I know. Actually, no, we need part of that, actually. We don't want that action, we just still want the factory, though. So get rid of that. Here's our factory. We can copy that. And what we can do instead is we can say our post aggregate. We're going to retrieve based on a UUID. So the UUID is going to be using the string helper. UUID. String, and then we're going to call create post. Now our object in this case is going to be the result of factory doing some magic like that. So here is our, actually we don't really need to do it that way because we don't need that variable, and then we can just call persist to save it. So we're going to do an array merge here, clean this up a little bit. So to walk through it, we're going to use our post aggregate, tell it to start a new aggregate entry with a UUID. Then we're going to create a post by passing in the form state, the user ID, and that is it, and that will hit the create post down here, which will be a data object contract here, and that's just going to record that that event happened. So let's step through when we create a post. Hey Nunu, how you doing, buddy? Right, we have got our user, we are good. Let's go create a post. Let's see if we get any issues, any errors, and if we do, blame it on something else. That's going to be a test. So, at this point, I just want to submit for moderation. Blog experiment snapshots. Okay, so where's warp? There we go. Do I need to publish anything? Migrated stored events. Let's go check. Event sourcing. I do love event sourcing for the right reasons, Ollie. Yeah, definitely. I mean, for something like a moderation workflow where you're going to have reactors and you want actions to happen all the time, but if you replay them, you don't want to always email for those side effects. It is pretty much the perfect thing to use. Oh, come on, Sparsy website. Alright, okay. Sparsy, Laravel, event sourcing. Google might be faster. Oh, it's not. Oh. Okay, while I'm waiting for that, what have we got? We've got event source and migration, so 22. So let's just migrate. Ooh. Sale, artisan, migrate. Hello, hello. That's still waiting. So what are we gonna do? We're just gonna ignore that because for some reason it's taking a little bit of time. Submit for moderation. Save. Boom. That has been submitted for moderation. So at this point we know it's been saved. So we need to write a test around our changes, right? Or we need to change our testing. So what can we do? Down in testing, event sourcing is always an interesting one. Package overflow, yeah. There's just way too much of a Sparsy website. They broke the internet now. They've broken it. So posts, we don't actually need that variable. It is nice. Can you do like an acting as? Yeah. Right, we are just going to run our test suite quickly, so let's put a warp over here. Sale artisan test. We're probably going to get some failures. Likely to get some failures. Yes, create post. So, app post update not defined. Okay, I don't know what's happened there, but I'll worry about that in a little bit. It shows the create form. So for some reason, that is failing. From that little change that I did here. We'll run the publishing group to make it quicker. It's still failing, so app posts update not defined. So if I quickly root list, it is very true. The update is not showing. What happened? What did I do? Roots, web, get, show. Wait, we don't have an update anymore. We have a component for updating. We don't actually have. Okay, so I've not updated my form. What's that? App post update, URL generator, create post test. Contains create a new post. Okay, so we're making sure that works and that works. Assert the status, and then assert that we see the value. Let's just kind of clean this up a little bit so it's easier to follow. Logically break it up, so run that. Fix the interpreter, and we're going to use a PHP 8.1. Show the form interpreter. Yep, cool. Run. Why is it failing? It shows a create form. Failed asserting. All of this contains create a new post. So that create form, it doesn't actually have it anymore. That'll be why. So let's say it sees post title, and we're going to certc, that is these submit for moderation. Let's run it again and see what it says. And now we're looking good. Okay. Can create a new post. Run the publishing group again and see where we're sitting. Cool. So it shows the update form. No, it doesn't, because we don't have that anymore. So that is in our tests, publishing, update post test, shows user update form. We're not really going to worry about that, are we? Where is that route now? Let's require dev Barry debug bar. What route are we on? Good old Barry. App posts show. Run the publishing group again. Running tests everywhere. 7. Cool. So those tests are working, but it's not testing that the aggregate's actually running. So what we need to do is we need to look at this part. It can create a new post. It shows a create form. We need to do a simple it triggers the aggregate route to store the event that a post was created. So yet again we need to start with this. So first off we want to expect that the post stored event query count to equal 0. Then we can trigger a saving so that no errors happened, and then we expect after that that we should have one stored event. That is kind of how we expect that to work. So we're testing the side effects basically. So at this point, so if I just grab this, let's just dump this out quickly so you can kind of see what I mean. Hey, Matteo. Matteo is one of the developers where I work. He is awesome. Okay, so for some reason the DD is being completely ignored. Sale, artisan, test, group, publishing. Go! Run! Show me what you got. It's just ignoring me, isn't it? Trigger the aggregate. Okay, so why is it? Oh wait, I was just not in the right group. That'd be why it's not running. It's passing. Is it? Are you sure? So we've got post stored events. And the event class is post was created, basically. So we can go a little bit beyond here. So we could do something like a get request or just get that first one there. We'll get what we're going to expect at this point is if I neaten this up so it looks nice to me. So we want to make sure that an event has been stored, so we're going to get them. Is there a to have count? Yep. To have a count of 1. The first one, we expect the event class to equal post was created class. I think that might test it the right way. Let me just see how that runs. No, it's telling me to jog on. Okay. Post stored object, here's my object, equals this magic. No, not quite. Okay, so might not let us go that far. So we might just have to do a count and just make sure that we know that it's been stored because of X. That's reasonable testing for me. Because we're only storing one sort of data within here, only that could have been triggered by it. So it's okay, but it's still bugging me, right? It's still bugging me in the background. We might come back to it. So we've moved over that aspect of it, but so now we need reactors. We need to be able to react to changes. So let's create one. Reactors. I'm going to create a new PHP class. I'm going to call this one email moderators. Does this extend reactor? I think. Yeah. So let's simplify that and let's see if this is gateway timed out. Simplify that. Here we go. So let's come down to reactors. So writing your first reactor. It needs to implement should queue. That's fine. I can handle that. That is an acceptable thing. So we can add something in here. So public function on post was created. Within here, we will capture the event again. Post was created. Here's my event. Lovely. Thank you. Typically this will be a void again, which is also pretty cool. Pretty handy. So what do we want to do? We basically want to go through and say get all moderators or admins notify them that a new post was added. Le fin. Done. That's it. That's all we want it to do. We basically want to go. We kind of need to create something for this, don't we? A notification. So, but the one thing I'm umming and ahhing about at the minute is sale PHP. How's this going to run? The app? No. return container. It shouldn't have to go that far, right? I mean, it's going to die there. It's going to have a couple of violations. So create form must not depend on post aggregate because it's in the domain. So we need to kind of bind to something else. And again, post aggregate there. So we need to, can't really depend on that. So we're going to have to look at how we can trigger some of this if we want it to be like properly safe in terms of architecture spillover. But we're just going to create a notification first. So make a notification, moderators notifications, and we're going to create a moderation notification. New post was created. So users equals user query where has role, and we want the eloquent builder here. We want to make sure that the builder where the role name wherein name and get those. So that's getting all of the users. So what we can then do is users map over each authenticatable. Let's go to the user. What was it? Authenticatable. Where's that one coming from? Let's pull that in. For each authenticatable, what we want to do is user notify a new notification. New post was created. And what we're going to pass into there is the event object again. That's kind of like it. I wish I could make it look a little bit nicer maybe, but it does what it does, you know. It does what it does. I could maybe put these down a level, but then it still looks wonky. It's all about nice code, right? So let's have a look at what we need to do. This new post was created. Let's go to here. So in our constructor, we need to accept within public data object contract. Here's our object and our email, new mail message. Do we really need to pass that in though? Yeah, we kind of do if we want to get the object. So howdy moderator. Not going to add an action right now. What we're going to do is say a new post. This object title was submitted for moderation. That might complain, but it should be there in theory. Or we could just like drop that completely, not worry about the constructor, and then not actually worry about the event itself. So what's my mail set up to right now? Mail hog. What could I use? Shall I have I have got Hilo installed. Where it might be, I do not know. Here it is. Oh, still not activated it. Damn it. I've got something over here. Beyond code. Let's log in and let's activate this. Which account was it? Let's suppose. No. Other account. Sign out. Sign in. Probably might work. There we go. Sign in there. Licenses and download. Perfect. Beyond code. Here is my. No, don't want that license to run. Here we go. Let's just see if we can get this sorted quickly. Activate my license. Delete all mails. Sweet. So I can grab that. Mail encryption, that stuff. PHP Online. Mail from address at phponline.dev. Let's see if this works. So close all of these tabs. In my event sourcing provider, I need to register the reactor. So add projector. I'm pretty sure there's a way to register it. Reactors. Creating and configuring. Registering. Searching list. Add reactor. And this is email moderators. So anytime we need to email moderators, it should be done through there. I mean, yeah, I suppose you could just go over each instead of map. I don't know if there's any speed difference in reality, but we can have a look. Right, so what we're going to do is come to here. Oh, no, I don't want to update you right now. I've literally just got you running so I can test something. Right, you need to go there. Right. Create a new post. Test. Save. Ooh. Cannot persist aggregate because it seems to change by another process after it was retrieved in the front of the What? Okay. No idea what's going there. Right. What is going on? Processes of processes are running into each other of something or other. Boop. Okay, so why is this happening? Vendor frames. So when I call create post, I am not persisting it. I'm not making anything funny. I'm returning this. I am recording that this happened and returning this, which is exactly how the docs recommend using it. This, record that, and return this. What could possibly be going wrong? Yeah, I could. Let's persist it there instead of in live wire and see what it does. Could not persist aggregate root. Okay, so this change seems to be changed by another process after it was retrieved in the current process. Current in-memory version is 1. Yes, we're doing that. The vendor frames container. What could possibly be going on? Is this going to cause a major issue now? Or should I create an action to trigger the aggregate? Maybe I'll do that. We'll trigger an action to trigger an aggregate. There's an action over there though. Okay. Another option is an hour in. What can we do? What can we do? Bit of service. Within here, we're going to create a new PHP class, and we're going to call this one post aggregate service. Oh, wordy. Contract. Interface. And then within here, we're going to create a new PHP class. Post aggregate service implements this. And we're going to simplify that. Come back. There we go. So we also need to go back to our providers, bind these. Import that. And we're binding that. So now in our create new post, not in there, in Livewire, instead of having anything going on with that, I can get that and I can call it service. Perfect. So now what I can do is I can say service, create post, factory makes some stuff for me. Grab that. Remove that, remove that, and that, which is good. So that form is now going to trigger elsewhere. to have a create post, public function create post. Don't need to return anything, and that is going to accept a data object contract. Is that object? I think. Yeah, for now, that's fine. Cool. So, at this point, we should be able to say post aggregate retrieve of a UUID the object is object. That should help us keep things out of the domain as well, which is nice. Let's go have a look now. Let's just run our tests. Ooh, okay, what's failing now? Use database transaction handle, command message of type, command contract, handles given in pipeline. Use database transactions, argument one command must be of type, command contract. Oh, what's going on? That is in my package that I was playing with. Where is that kicking in? We're automatically showing our bust pipe anything, so use database transactions, and then we're trying to run that as a okay, so our command bus is automatically going through that, which is why we are having issues. So what we might need to do instead, event queries, where was it? Is this the latest version? Yeah. There used to be something about a command bus. Can't remember where I saw it. I know. Let's go to version 6. Okay, I can't see it anymore. That is a pain. That's a pain. Okay, so what is going wrong? Command contract must be passed, and we're passing something else, basically. Use database transactions. So, our should be stored. The issue we are having with our should be stored handles stored event job. Is there a way I can just drop that? I could maybe in my specific use case so I can't really override too much without it dying. Source, domains, providers. Goes in boot. So I need to create a boot. Public function boot. Pipe through. Nothing. Let's see what it says now. Basically, all that's doing is we wanted it. I was creating something where that I can force things to go through a database transaction by default. It's not polished, so that's why that is not working. But I've told it to ignore that part of it now, so we are good, and we should be able to at this point, hopefully. Okay, so something's still changing it in the background. Submit. Yep. We're passing that through. There's the object. And I feel like we're doing way too much there. So let's come back down to our service. This part here. Here's our create post. We're not actually persisting it anywhere yet. We don't want to persist in the aggregate. We want to persist outside the aggregate. So this shouldn't work. Good. Let's create a new one. Awesome. So that isn't submitting. So if we go down to HTTP Livewire, nope, down to our service, sorry, post aggregate, create post, and persist. Run our tests and see what it does. And it does. Cannot persist aggregate because it seems to be changed by another process after it was. Okay, so is that an ongoing issue, perhaps? So I know a couple of people have had issues. Hey! Just a reminder that I'm not allowed to stop streaming until someone else schedules a stream on live. Ooh, how are we looking on live streamers these days? How are we looking? So basically, I have to stream forever. So who's been streaming? We've had Ryan, awesome. Lucas, JMac, Drake, Christoph. We've had loads of cool streams. Am I still in the lead? Oh, 58. Oh, you're catching up there, Christoph. I'm gonna have to like spend my life streaming now. Okay. I'm going to try a drastic measure because I can't figure out why this might be happening. So let me just get rid of that. We don't want that one. We want 6.0. Update that. There we go. Right, say goodbye to my wife. I am now going to be just full-time streaming, nothing else ever again. Okay, that seems to have an issue. Okay. Now we're just tripping over stuff, so... Is there a version that will work with Laravel 9? Apparently not. So, 7... I don't really have much choice on this one. And it feels like the reason I've had an issue ever since I registered a reactor. So let's go have a look at our reactors and where we're registering these. Just ignore that now. Run a composer update anyway. Loads of new stuff to do. Excellent. Oh, my internet feels slow today. In other news, how was everyone else? How long have we been streaming? An hour and 20 minutes. Hour and 20 minutes. Right. Yeah, no, it's still having an issue, and I'm not sure why this is happening. Aggregate root persist. Persist without applying to event handlers. Could not persist. Aggregate root because it's what is going on? The form's working fine. Does this persist? Okay, let's break this down. Break it down into something else. Can I at least start it? Here's my aggregate. I can at least get to that point. So I've got my aggregate, recorded events, post was created. Here's my data, with my category, my content, all the cool stuff. There's no meta information that's useful really. Aggregate root ID, created at aggregate root version, nothing that I need for this. So, if I die and dump on persist, what actually is happening? It's just saying no. Why is persist having an issue? Do I have to like pass it something now? Is it changed? Right, your first aggregate. Record that, do this. Record that, do this. Persist. Retrieve a UID. Call something and persist. Like, how could this possibly not? Saying this persists on the aggregate. Let's see if that changes anything. I have very little doubt that it will. If it doesn't, I will have a dig into it off stream. Yeah, it's just saying, no Steve, don't be silly. What do you think you're doing, you cheeky devil? So yeah, we're just going to ignore that for now. We got the first stage done. Concurrent persist. I mean, it was passing tests. Something up with the web, maybe? Because things are happening in the background. I'm just having funny reactions elsewhere. I mean, I spent all that trouble getting that all set up, and we've just got no mailboxes. Nothing's been created. It's just disappointing me. What the darndest is going on? Do. Persists. No, so you pass it the UID, and then the Sparsy package handles assigning the aggregate UID. So you're saying retrieve his UID, run this method, and then persist. The method itself doesn't persist. Everything's done as per the docs. I don't know if something's changed in Laravel 9 or in version 7, because the last version of the package I was using, I don't think it was version 7, and I think a few other people did have issues with version 7 maybe. Yeah, I was on 6 last time. Sparsy event sourcing version 6. So maybe something's happened in version 7 that's causing an issue? Those sort of events, no. Should dispatch job, blah blah. Projectors not being registered. So, could not persist aggregate is what I'm looking for. Do we have anything to do with that? Concurrent persists. Ooh. Ah, that is something new in this version, so that means I can come down to my aggregates, post aggregate, add that, come back to here and say test, save. No, you're still saying no. What are you doing? Okay, so allow concurrency false. We'll try a different option before we dig into it too much. No, it's still telling me where to go, isn't it? Okay, so this seems to be something that is going on. The retry middleware could solve your... Okay, that's not a very useful comment there, because I mean... Where is the retry middleware? Is it part of your package? Not part of your package? Preventing job overlaps. I'm not seeing anything useful, so I might just have to say, that ain't gonna happen. So, what we would do instead is stop at that point, I think. I'm gonna start a chat with Frake or Brent and see what's changed. I don't really want to have to downgrade Laravel just to use a specific version of the package because of stuff happening now differently. Might be useful just to see what's going on, what's changed. Because passing my tests, it's on the web, it's triggering something else. It's got to be environment based, obviously, but we'll see. So we're going to call it a day there. We're going to call it a day early. Because I'm at a bit of a loss, if I'm completely honest. Slight bit of a loss. If you've got any ideas, post them in the comments. Love to get some ideas, because if you know what I need to do, then great. It means I don't have to scratch my head too much. I'm already losing enough hair from all the head scratching. Other than that, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed the stream, give it a like. If you want to see more of this stuff, subscribe. And I suppose I'll see you again soon. I'm planning Thursday's stream. I just don't know what yet. If you've got any ideas, reach out to me on Twitter. There's a Discord link in the description. Feel free to join the Discord and chat to me on there. Give me ideas. But thank you. I am now going to go spend some time with my wife. I think she's probably watching Grey's Anatomy, so let's go see what she's doing. Thank you very much for coming, and I will